Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. If you haven't noticed, I am committing to making a video almost every single day. If I can make a video, I'm gonna make a video, so expect at least 4 or 5 videos a week, hopefully even 7 out of 7, and it's looking like we may get that this week. And today, I'm gonna give you my top 5 best NFL off seasons. Now, the off season is not over. Okay, I understand that the offseason is not over. That we still have another little wave of free agency that's going to happen before training camp, after OTAs, if we have OTAs, and even training camp is up for grabs, don't get me wrong. Jadeveon Clowney is still a huge free agent that's out on the market. Logan Ryan is a considerable free agent. But for the most part, okay, after the draft, after the first couple waves of free agency, this is pretty much all we need to see out of the NFL offseason. The only thing that would really change my mind at this point would be a significant trade, which is certainly on the table, but I felt like this would be a good topic, so I picked it for today. Now, I have a number of considerable and honorable mentions that I want to mention first, okay? Let's start with the Dallas top 5. Buffalo Bills, they did a lot of stuff, right? They traded for Stephon Diggs, which was a great trade to me. They had a strong draft, but it wasn't quite top 5 for me. Cincinnati Bengals did a lot. They got Trey Waynes. I think they got Mackenzie Alexander as well. They definitely got the defensive tackle from the Houston Texans. I can't remember his name right now, but that was a great signing for them. They drafted Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. Strong offseason, not quite top 5 for me. Cleveland Browns, look, I like what they did. I really like what they did in terms of getting Jack Conklin, in terms of drafting Jedrick Wills out of Alabama, in terms of also drafting Grant Delpit in the second round. Not quite top 5. And the Giants did a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure how that stuff is going to materialize. Remember, they did a lot of stuff last offseason. A lot of it didn't work out, so they weren't quite top 5 for me. And then same goes for like the Panthers and the Chargers. A lot of people are going to say the Panthers and the Chargers have made this list now. They did a lot of stuff. They lost a lot. They got a lot. Panthers lost Kuechly and Cam and some other players like Bradbury as well. Got in a new coach, Bridgewater. It's a lot of influx in and out, a lot of input output. Hard for me to put that top 5. For you to make top 5, you have to have way more additions than departures, and you're going to see that momentarily. So let's start with the top 5, okay? And let's start with number 5, and it's actually the Dallas Cowboys. What am I talking about? I had them at the very edge of my top 5. We are live, in case you couldn't tell, and I guess I ended up putting them in. Okay, never mind. The Cowboys are in my top 5. Okay, let's look at their additions. We had Gerald McCoy, Clinton Dix out of free agency, Dontari Poe, Greg Zuerlein, Alden Smith, and then you look at the draft, CeeDee Lamb, Trevon Diggs, Neville Gallimore, and Bradley Anae in terms of the draft. So they were barely on my top 5. I remember having them on my honorable mentions, and then I made them number 5. I completely forgot. My bad. So anyway, yes, they barely make my top 5. They make it at number 5. And specifically, you have to look at the draft, okay? CeeDee Lamb. Getting CeeDee Lamb in the draft, getting him with the 17th overall pick. What a fantastic pick by the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he fell right into their lap. They took him. That's the move that they absolutely should have made, and that's the move that they made. Cornerback Trevon Diggs, defensive tackle Neville Gallimore, and defensive end Bradley Anae. All fantastic picks in terms of value. Okay, you want value in the draft, and combined with CeeDee Lamb as well, who we already know was great value. They had one of the best drafts in terms of value. And then in free agency, as I mentioned earlier, they lost Byron Jones, yes. They lost Robert Quinn, yes. But when you supplement those losses with the tremendous draft that they had, overall, I do think it is a top 5 all season, actually. I'm even surprising myself. But yes, I do think it is a top 5 all season. And I can't wait to see what CeeDee Lamb is able to do in this Dallas Cowboys system. But ultimately, as we know, it's going to come down to Dak Prescott, who is under the franchise tag for this upcoming 2020 NFL season. And we'll see whether or not he plays under that franchise tag, if they're going to have to come to a long-term agreement. I think that they will have to, and I think that they will eventually, agree to pay him $30 million a year. We'll see on that. It depends on the timing of other extensions as well, such as Patrick Mahomes, who is definitely going to break the market, and Deshaun Watson, who could also break the market as well, and then how Dak Prescott wants to adjust his asking price for those. But Overall, you look at this Dallas Cowboys offseason, again, getting CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, you can say what you want about him. I mean, I don't know how we can't have success this upcoming season. Throwing to Amari Cooper, who they just extended to a 5-year, $100 million extension, CeeDee Lamb, having the great running game of Ezekiel Elliott in this Dallas Cowboys offensive line and the pass protection that they provide. The Dallas Cowboys had a top 5 offseason to me. All right, so with that said, we move on to number 4 offseason in 2020. And number 4 for me would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I teased some of you when you guys came to this video whether or not the Buccaneers would be number 1. And look, they made a great addition, actually 2 great additions, in Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. 2 fantastic additions. Okay, without a doubt, 2 fantastic additions in Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady. That's about it. Okay, like that's pretty much all that they really did. Like, I like the draft picks of Tristan Wirfs. In fact, I really like that draft pick because a lot of people thought he might go number 4 to the New York Giants, fell all the way down to 13, and the Bucs traded up 1 spot to get him at 13. I like Antoine Winfield Jr. the second, or Jr. I should say, Antoine Winfield Jr. in the 2nd round, and then running back Keyshawn Vaughn, who I went to Vandy with, in the 3rd round. But, that's it, and Tom Brady's going to be a great addition for this team. I mean, that right there is probably going to be at least a 3-win difference to me. I mean, the Buccaneers went 7-9 last season. To me, they're going to be at least 10-6 this upcoming season because they added Tom Brady and Tom Brady alone. Because Tom Brady is going to make that offense much more efficient. It's going to make the defense much more efficient. They're already the number 1 run defense last season. Their pass defense struggled because Jameis Winston kept turning the ball over. Now, Tom Brady's not going to do that. The pass defense is going to look a lot better. The pass rush is going to be more consistent. The cornerback is going to be way more consistent. And overall, to me, the Buccaneers end up with the 4th best offseason. We look at number 3. Number 3 is the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, now the Colts had a very strong offseason to me. And a lot of people won't actually agree with this because they got players who some people think are done, specifically Phillip Rivers. Okay, so it really just depends how you view Phillip Rivers. If you believe that Phillip Rivers is done, if you believe that he has no chance, no shot, that he's gotten the best years he could possibly get out of him at this point, and that he has no chance of leading this team anywhere, then you're not going to be in on the Indianapolis Colts. I still think he has 1 or 2 good years left in him, especially behind this Indianapolis Colts offensive line. It's a superb offensive line. It's going to be one of the best offensive lines that Phillip Rivers has ever been behind. Now you're adding in the additions that they had. They trade for defensive tackle DeForest Buckner of the San Francisco 49ers, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Still has a lot of youth and potential still attributed to him. Okay, you add him to the mix. They signed Xavier Rhodes. Now Xavier Rhodes, his level of play has definitely dropped off over the past number of seasons, but I still think he has years left in him. He's still young. I still think he has some more good years in him for sure. He's a great addition, and they already have 2 good corners anyway in Rock Ya-Sin and Kenny Moore II. So they don't even need, Xavier Rhodes to really contribute. But if he does, that's fantastic for them. They add in running back Jonathan Taylor, who's going to be a nice compliment to Marlon Mack in terms of the backfield and the run game. They add in Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC to the wide receiver core, a big, tall wide receiver who Phillip Rivers loves to throw to. He loves throwing to Mike Williams. He's going to love throwing to Michael Pittman Jr. So the Colts, they just keep killing it, and it's no shock to me because the general manager that they hired, can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but when they hired him from Kansas City, this was one of the prime candidates to be a general manager in this league. It's one of the guys that I wanted before the Titans ended up hiring John Robinson. And let me look up his name right now because it's just bothering me. I can't remember that Colts general manager name, but this guy, Chris Ballard, that's his name. Chris Ballard's been absolutely killing it as the Colts general manager, and if Phillip Rivers can just get one more good season, I mean, the Colts could be Super Bowl contenders, people. I mean, this is a low-key Super Bowl contender, and as a fan of a team in the AFC South and the Tennessee Titans, I am much more fearful right now of the Indianapolis Colts than the Houston Texans, so the Colts get number 3. Number 2 would be the Miami Dolphins. Okay, yes, the Miami Dolphins end up at number 2 to me. Now, here's the thing with the Miami Dolphins offseason. It was a very good offseason. It was not perfect, but the thing is, they didn't lose anybody. Right, so the reason why they're ranking so high to me is because they did not lose diddly squat, because they didn't have diddly squat to lose. Their roster was so bad last season, and their free agent list this upcoming season, or looking into the 2020 offseason, was full of nothing. Guys, who cares if they leave? a lot of the guys are still out there. Rashad Jones is still out there on the street. The couple of offensive linemen that they had are still just sitting on the street begging for a job. Okay, so they've lost nothing, and then they've added a whole bunch. So they added 3 first-round draft picks, including Tua Tagovailoa, who I love, who's my quarterback one, who I had over Joseph Burrow. They add in Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle out of USC. They add in Noah, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, the cornerback, I want to say, out of Iowa. And they had a second-round pick on top of that, a couple third-round picks on top of that, and then you look at what they did in free agency. Poaching a couple New England Patriots and Kyle Van Noy and Landon Roberts. Not a big Landon Roberts fan, but Kyle Van Noy has really come on lately. Nabbing Byron Jones, who we mentioned earlier from the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to, team up with Xavier and Howard, make a good cornerback tandem there. Shaq Lawson had 6.5 sacks last year for the Buffalo Bills. He's going to be a nice addition to that unit. Now, they're still a mess in terms of their edge defenders right now, but Shaq Lawson can at least add to that mess. And then Jordan Howard, look, he can't find a home right now, but I like the addition. It's not going to be a great addition, but I do like the addition of Jordan Howard. So they just added so much and lost nothing to where by default they're going to have a top 5 offseason. And overall, because I love the pick of Tua Tagovailoa, it becomes number 2 to me. So number 2 in the Miami Dolphins, but the number one offseason to me in 2020 was the Denver Broncos. Yes, people continue to sleep on the Denver Broncos, and it is going to be problematic for people. Okay, let's start with their free agent additions. And let's start with that boy right there, Jurrell Casey. I mean, a lot of people still don't know who this man is, but he is going to make an incredible impact for the Denver Broncos this upcoming season. He's been a borderline, if not Pro Bowl player for the past 5 seasons now, and he still has some left in the tank. And you put him next to Von Miller and Bradley Chubb when Bradley Chubb comes back healthy. Oh, Jurrell Casey's going to eat. But they didn't stop there. They had more additions on top of that. A.J. Bouye, the cornerback formerly of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, he did not have a great season this past season, but his effort was extremely low. Playing for the Jaguars, he had no interest in actually playing up to his abilities. They add him to the mix. Now, I don't love that they let go of Chris Harris Jr. to do it. If they would have asked me, I would have rather just kept Harris instead of signing Bouye, but you can argue that, hey, that's a neutral gain or loss there, right? It's a net nothing, okay, in terms of losing Harris and getting Bouye. I would have just kept Harris because you already know how Harris looks in your system, and it looks damn good in your system, but they get Bouye. And then they added Melvin Gordon to this already talented running back, duo in Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay. Let's just throw Melvin Gordon in the mix because why not? We have the money to do so. Let's improve our offensive line with Graham Glasgow, formerly of the Detroit Lions. And then in the draft, let's surround our quarterback, Drew Lock, with more weapons. Let's get him Jerry Jeudy. Let's get him KJ Hamler. Let's put Lloyd Cushenberry III out of, I want to say USC, maybe LSU actually, at center. That is an absolutely great move in terms of being able to surround Drew Lock with talent. I don't know if Drew Lock can play right now. There's a lot of stuff that I like. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like in terms of his play on the field and in terms of his personality off of it, to be quite honest with you. But now he has the weapons to succeed. And you look at what they lost. Yes, they did lose Chris Harris, Derek Wolfe. His play has not been that impressive lately. And then Ronald Leary, Joe Flacco, Connor McGovern, and Will Parks. Who cares? No one cares about any of those guys. So you look at the overall Denver Broncos offseason. What I love about it is they identified what they had to do. They had to go out and they had to surround Drew Lock with weapons. They have veterans on the defense. They have young, exciting talent on the offense, and that is a beautiful balance for any team in this league. And the Denver Broncos have absolutely a playoff caliber team to me, especially considering the fact that we're going to have 7 playoff teams this upcoming season. I'm absolutely looking out for the Denver Broncos, and to me, they had the best offseason in 2020. So there you go. Those are my top 5 NFL offseasons and my honorable mentions, of course. So forget about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry for that snafu. I completely forgot to remove the Dallas Cowboys from my honorable mentions. Then I started going out talking about it, and then they're top 5. But those are my real top 5 NFL offseasons. What are yours? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.